Thread count. This is one of these minimalistic roll and write games by NSV. They come in pouches that are sewn shut. When they leave the factory, you have to tear them open, and there really isn't any way of closing them. If you want to store them, then you may add a little baggie like I did. Inside that paper pouch, you find a pad of play sheets, which are what the game really is about, and you'll write on those to actually play the game. You'll find a small pencil, and you also have a die. You will probably want to add some extra pencils or writing tools so that you don't have to share and multiple people can play at the same time, because one good thing is that you can really have a high number of players playing these games, because each turn the die is rolled and the same result is used by everybody writing on their own pad. So as long as they can hear you say the number, everybody, a large number of players can play at the same time. The topic of this one is a little stranger. It's a little unusual. It feels like they had to come up with it after they get the mechanics, and it's basically you're dangling a piece of yarn in front of a cat's paw and you're drawing that around the room. And it's good if you dangle the yarn over toys and socks and paper planes. All right, sure, whatever. All right, that's the topic. The idea is you're gonna roll the die, and that number is the distance of the thread that we're gonna draw this turn. Everybody has to draw that. Oh, by the way, you see these shadows here? These shadows here. At the beginning of the game, you're supposed to fill in or to circle 6 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. They represent cups that have been left on the floor in this very messy room, and there are penalties for crossing them. So you do these, and then you give the sheet to an opponent, and you receive that of an opponent. I played this game mainly with my daughter. All of these games in this family I play with my daughter Luisa, who loves them and who is 8, but she does not like this element of the setup, so we simply play that. That's it, without the cups on the floor, which is even allowed in the rules. Look at that. And so as you can see on the other side, you have a different configuration. So playing the version, let's play the version with the cups. You roll the die, and everybody starting from that point there has to write in that number or that length of yarn. You start from the end of the previous thread, or from that point if you're just starting the game, and you have to go in a single line, a single straight line, and you can only place a 1 90-degree bend per turn. So with a 1, say I could go 2 straight away, or 2 straight away, or 2 straight away, or I could go 1 and then turn, or 1 and then turn, or 1 and then turn, or 1 and then turn. So there are different ways. I suppose I want to go straight there, because actually touching the toys, the paper planes, the mice, and the toy mice, and the socks is what you're going to do, what you want to do, while avoiding the cups. And that's it for now. I was able to connect a little mouse, so I make a mark here accordingly. And then we get the next one, which is 4, and gives me a lot more options. 1, 2, I like this one. I could do 1, 2, and then 3, 4 that way. So, and if I cannot connect, if I basically cannot insert or draw the entire total within the rules, say maybe I'm in a corner, it's impossible for me to place the entire thing, especially if a large number was rolled, then I simply pass the turn. But suppose that we're going this way, that's a 1, that's easy to fit, and I fit it there, and then I roll another 1, and I fit it there because I can. There's no cup, and oh, I rolled a 5. That's, you saw that, right? Yes. What can I do with a 5? I could do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and that was a silly move because I touched the cup. Doesn't matter. So every time I cross one of these 3 items, I do that, and then when I cross a cup, I also check a box there, which will give me a penalty. Now, when you complete a full set, such as this one, that is one of each item, the first player who creates a full set starts the timer. Everybody colors this in as a reminder. From that moment on, the next time that somebody rolls, if they roll the number on top of that line or higher, it's a very small symbol, that number or higher, say I rolled a 6, then everybody crosses that out. And then we continue to play. We place the 6, and then we roll the die. Maybe the next one is a 3, which is okay, because the number on top now is 4. Then somebody rolls a 5, which is equal to or higher than the 4. And basically, this is the timer. When all of these 4 boxes have been filled in, then you get to the final scoring, and that is when you count points for each set that you finished. For each set that you finished, plus 1 point for each item that you touched. You lose points for the cups that you touched. Also, if you were able to connect the thread to the end of the thread, you get to score 5 extra points. Connecting to the thread, to the other end of the thread, is the only case when you're allowed to draw less than was rolled, but also that gets you out of the game. From that moment on, you cannot play anymore, it's gone out of the game. But 5 points is pretty good, and also, again, these games last 5-10 points, 5-10 minutes, so it's not that you're gonna be out of the game for that long. So this is how you play thread count. Of this family of micro, roll, and write games, I actually enjoy them all pretty much to different extents. This may be my favorite one. I find that that's a really interesting puzzle. It has a lot of, or at least I like it as much as Honeymoon. I would say they're both my favorites. Equal merit. Thread count, it's simple, again, within the category of a filler that you play in 5-10 minutes. This one has a couple of interesting wrinkles there. Setup is more random, is more varied than you have with the other games, because here you have 6 elements that are randomly placed, so in any case that are out of your control and that change every time, which gives you a lot more initial variety than you have in the other games such as Honeymoon or Hungry Hamsters or Fancy Sheep. So right there, that's interesting. And you have a lot of interesting options in some of the other games. You have maybe 2-3 good options that you are considering. But here, if you have a high number that you can, move in 3 possible directions and then bend at some point in possible directions, then you have more nuanced gameplay than I would say you have in almost any other 5-minute filler that I played. I'm always happy to play 5-minute fillers like Zombie Dice, but of course you don't really as many choices. So here you have a decision tree. You really have some a space of decision which is I would say more considerable than you have in many other games of this category. Again, doesn't make it a heavy game, but makes it a filler with a little bit of thinking, a little more meat. And maybe this is why actually there's too much thinking involved, I don't know, but I played these games with my daughter Luisa mainly. I also tried with the 10-year-old, but she doesn't like them quite as much. It's the 8-year-old Luisa who loves these roll and write games, and this one is probably her least favorite one. She prefers Fancy Sheep and Hungry Hamsters. So there is that. Again, it's not that there's too much, the game is not too cerebral by any chance, but I guess that she prefers the linear simplicity of the other ones. So this is a game that, one day as a filler, I may play it at game night, if we still have any sheets by then, by the time the pandemic is over and I start having game night with my adult friends again. So, thread count, a very simple 5 minutes, super light, roll and write and minimalistic roll and write game, but within the category it's an entertaining one, and there is a little more thinking involved than in a lot of other games within the same category.